Hello my quilting friends, my name is Leah Day and welcome to the tutorial for ZoYo. So this is basically yo-yo only with zigzags, and it is stitched very simply. I simply stitch a little zigzag from corner to corner. And I have marked my quilting space with a grid. It's already started to fade out. I mark with my favorite Fons and Porter ceramic marking pencil. And just as I quilt, just the friction of my hand over the surface can generally lighten up my marks. And that's what I like. You know, with marking anything, we want it to be temporary. We don't want the marks to stay. So let's get back to our ZoYo design. I'm going to bounce over here, and then I want to show you how this works stitching down that line. And I want to figure eight this. What that means is I'm going to first stitch my angle here, come into basically where that grid crosses, and then now pass into the next square. So in that way I'm forming a figure eight. I'm going to do half down the line. Now I'm going to rotate my quilting space around and I'm going to do the other half. Now when working on a home sewing machine, stationary home sewing machine, and pushing the quilt, for some reason I find this a little tricky. It's very easy to veer off in the wrong direction. It's very easy to get distracted by all of the shapes going on. I do find this easier to do on my long arm on the frame. So let's check out and see how we're going to stitch ZoYo together. So I am here on my long arm, the Qnique 21X Elite, and I am ruler quilting ZoYo. So I tried this out freehand, and I found I was just a little bit too wiggly wobbly. You can see this line, this top line here was what I did freehand. And I really like that crisp line. I just think that it looks so much better when the lines are nice and straight and crisp. And on my home sewing machine, I'm pretty good at stitching straight lines in free motion without a ruler. On my long arm, not so much. So I grabbed the Ditcher ruler here, and it is working really well. I do think that a ruler specifically designed to stitch this would definitely help. Something I'm already thinking about. This is one of those things that, because it requires this grid to be marked first, and pretty accurate placement. I mean, I need to stitch into the middle of that area, or into the middle of that line at an angle, and then come back down and cross over that line. This is one of those things where a well-designed ruler can really help you with that accurate placement, so it doesn't take as much thinking, as much effort when you're actually on the quilt. But I'm really enjoying this, and even though it's a little on the time-consuming side, it's one of my favorite designs already. It's just so pretty. So where will this work best? If you get addicted to ZoYo and stitching this on your quilts, where is it going to work best? This is going to be a design that is going to work great in small areas. It's just so time-consuming. I wouldn't recommend using it as an all-over quilting design, although obviously you could. If you had a block with lots of 2-inch squares or 3-inch squares or 4-inch squares, you could use ZoYo to stitch the whole thing, just simply bouncing corner to corner. That's, dot to dot or corner to corner quilting. Very easy, and then you won't have to mark anything. But as you can see, it would be very slow. So I'm not sure I would recommend it as an all-over quilting design unless the quilt is just really special. Or it's a show quilt and you're stitching it on a smaller scale. This could be a great background grid, a really interesting grid effect. So lots of different possibilities. But I hope you can see it is a little on the slow side, but the bang for your buck looks-wise is definitely there. And while, no, I'm not using a specific ruler to quilt this, I do think on a long arm, for me at least, the ruler is absolutely essential. It's just helping me get nice straight lines, good placement. And what I'm looking at is where my lines crossed before. So I went ahead and stitched my verticals first. I'm trying to line up my ruler so that the edge of the ruler is a 1/4 inch from that, because everything with ruler quilting is based on that 1/4 inch. You have a 1/2 inch foot, needle in center position, which means you get 1/4 inch to both sides. So that 1/4 inch spacing, just like with patchwork, I love it. Ruler quilting has that same number, that same space, and you got to use that. You got to use it to your advantage. And so, you know, even when I was off like right there, I still want to line up my ruler so that it's a 1/4 inch from that cross. Even though that cross is not exactly in the right spot, it's going to look better if I have all the lines crossing in the same place. So I love this design. Definitely going to be stitching some more ZoYo. Whoops, I stitched off a little bit there. That's okay. Now I can go in this direction, but definitely going to be stitching ZoYo a lot in this coming year. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial learning how to stitch ZoYo with me. Very beautiful design. Come and check out more free motion quilting tutorials, both on a home sewing machine and on a Longarm machine at leahday.com/FMQ. Until next time, let's go quilt.